Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, president of Dealer Synergy, and I want to just say that in my 22 years in the automotive industry, I've had the pleasure and the honor to work with some incredible people and see some incredible evolutions. And I'm here right now at Bob Ruth Ford with the dealer principal, Rob Ruth, who's become a really good friend, not just a client. And I wanted to just really just take the moment to kind of get to know you a little bit more, how you started to where you're at right here. And I want the audience to really see the possibilities, because we hear these things like the Ali Radas, on a salesperson level, but there's not a lot of individual dealerships that are like, I really believe that Bob Ruth Ford is one of those like major success stories. So with that, let me introduce you to Rob Ruth.
Thanks, Sean. So I'm Rob Ruth. I'm the owner-president here at Bob Ruth Ford. So my backstory is, I was born into the car business. My mother and father met at a car dealership. My dad was a general manager. My mom was a receptionist at a different dealership. He was wholesaling cars to that dealership. So, I've been around the car business my whole life. We're sitting here in my office, which was once my kitchen. When he bought this store in 1983, my parents were split up, but I lived with my father. And we had an apartment here. So this was home to me. So at the age of 6 years old, my first job started in the car business. And as I grew up and as around the car business as a kid, the last thing I ever wanted to do was be in the car business. But my dad was smart. He kept pushing me, hey, you should sell cars. You should sell cars. And I worked here. I took out the trash when I was younger. I worked in recon. I had odd jobs throughout this place my whole life. But he was smart. He got me selling cars when I was 19. It was after my sophomore year in college. And the year prior to that, I worked for a mason contractor. So I was mixing cement, building blocks, laying blocks for the masons. And, I was making $8 an hour at the time. I think that summer I made maybe $1,500, went back to college, had some cash. Well, the next summer I came in and, my father convinced me to come sell cars. So I kind of half-assed it. I was a 19-year-old kid and I was like, all right, I'll try it, but I can't sell cars. So I was like, I'm not working Saturdays. There's no way. I'm not working Saturdays. So I came in Monday through Friday. Long story short, in that summer I made 15 grand. Okay. So I'm like, wow. So I go back to college. I got some cash in my pocket. Like, telling my friends, they're like, get the hell out of here. I'm like, no, I made 15 grand this summer. So then the next summer I came back after college and I was like, well, if I made 15 grand, I gave it maybe an 80% effort. If I actually went all in and sold cars, what could I do? So in that summer, in those 3.5 months, I made like 29 grand.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So picture this. I went to Clemson University. I was fortunate. I was handing up an education, but I got to go down to college at $29,000, after taxes, whatever it came to. But I was living the life, right? But I'm still like, nah, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to go and, I'm going to conquer the world, young college kid. Took a job. I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. I took a job and it was for banking. So I was always good with numbers. So I was selling mutual funds, doing loans. My salary was $31,500. Okay. And if I was really good, I might have made $39,000 that year. So the light bulbs are going off and, I'm living on my own. I'm paying rent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, well, if I make $29,000 in 3 months and I'm going to make maybe $40,000 this year, I'm like, oh. And then he took me to an NADA conference and I kind of got involved and, he was in his mid 50s. I was 22 and he needed help. This is when the internet was coming out and it was I could just see he really wanted me to be a part of it. So I made the decision at that point in time to come back into the car business full time. And I went into it with the mindset that, I didn't like it. I didn't like the perception. I didn't like just the structure. I was just like, this has got to change.
Right.
So from day one, I have always had this mindset that if we work smarter, if we use technology, if we kind of, take the car business from the way it was old school and we kind of bring it to a newer school, there's a lot of opportunities. So I started selling cars at 22 within 6, 7 months. I mean, I was doing really well. And he believed in me. I didn't believe in myself at the time, but he threw me into a management position, which then everything changed. You know, it wasn't just about me and my numbers. It was like, okay, I got to manage a team. How do we move forward? So, you know, from there, it's just evolved. And obviously my skills continue to improve. I continue to learn more. We continue to use the internet. We just started growing. You know, I got better at marketing. I always went to 20 groups. He taught me. So I understood the financial aspect. I went to the NAD Academy. The first thing I was taught was just the financial statement of the business. How does a dealership make money? Okay. Right. So I really understood that, but I didn't really learn fixed operations until 2013 when I was put in, it was a position where we lost our service manager. He bailed on us. I mean, I hired a guy because we needed to improve our service operations. And I hired a guy and he came in and he did a great job at first. And we kind of cleaned house and we got some new people in, everything was going in the right direction. And then he bailed. Okay. So I had no service manager. My parts manager walked out. Okay. So I was put in a position like overnight where I had no fixed help. It was me and the technicians and a couple service advisors that at the point, they really weren't that great. Right. Okay. So I was in a survival mode and I had to learn real quick. And I talked to, the technicians. I said, listen, the only thing I can't do, I can manage processes and we can figure this out, but I can't fix cars. Right. Okay. I don't know how to do that. Right. And, we all came together. I put it out there. I mean, we were slamming in our new and used car department at this point in time. And I'm like, well, that's not going to continue unless we fix this problem. Right. So at that point in time it took us a couple years to really build a team, put the processes together, get that really moving in the right direction. And then, now we're kind of growing together. So we're Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. It's a town of maybe 3,000 people, population of Dillsburg. We're outside of Harrisburg, which is 10 miles away. Harrisburg, maybe 250,000 people in that surrounding. But we're a small town. Nice people, but, it's a small town mentality here. So, we stand out. And, we pull people in from other markets. That's just something that we had to learn to do. We got aggressive on marketing. And that was what I became good at first, really, was marketing. So we got attention. We brought people into the showroom, okay? And, we started to grow. One thing that helped us get to this point, we got very heavy into subprime. Okay, perfect. So subprime was a big part of us growing. So I'm like, there's a market out there. Yes. What can we do? We're a Ford dealer. We've got a lot of competition. Okay, we're in this small town in this old building. What can we do to grow? So I saw an opportunity in the subprime market. I went after it. I marketed heavy to it. We brought them in, and we've always had the mentality to treat that customer the same as we would our new car customer. Okay, get them a decent car, treat them right, treat them with respect. Don't treat them any different than you would the guy with an 800 credit score. Treat them the same as a guy with a 500 credit score. They're people, right? People are people. You know what I mean? Yeah. We sell cars to people. So if you don't like subprime, so you can't pick and choose. I guess you can. You could be a niche dealer. We just had the mentality, let's serve the masses. Let's serve the masses. And then with that, there's a lot of opportunities. Okay. So I was going to the auctions 2-3 days a week. Then I would come back and I'd desk deals. And I was wearing myself out completely. God, it was just, I was doing the marketing. I was ordering the new car inventory. I was desking deals. I'd go in the box if I had to. I was buying cars. That's when it kind of, the light bulb started. I need to grow this and find better people. Okay. Mm-hmm. But you got to put it all together. You got to have the inventory. You got to have the marketing. You got to have the processes. You got to be able to deliver it, service it. It's not just one thing. There's no secret. Exactly. There's no one little secret that you can do. You got to be good at everything to be successful in this business.
And how being a used car heavy dealer has helped you throughout the 2008, the pandemic, everything. How is that?
Sure. So, my philosophy was, okay, so I'm a Ford dealer and we get our market share and then some. With Ford's happy with us. We have great customer service numbers. We have great market share numbers. So the manufacturer's happy with us, but let's say the SAR is 16 million. So we're one franchise after that 16 million, maybe a 10% market share. Right. Okay. And then we're competing against all these other dealers.
Well, the used car market, let's say it's 42 million. Okay, that's wide open.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just a business. You've got this market or you got this market. What do you want to compete in?
Mm.
So that was my philosophy. I saw an opportunity in used cars. I like used cars. I like buying them and selling them. It's fun.
All right, so let's transition now into like numbers. Okay, so
But that's how I met you though too. So we just started growing and our marketing was working and we're getting all these opportunities, and you could see, with growth comes problems too.
right,
So the more attention that we were getting, we had to figure out, okay, we got to structure this better. I mean, we got to take care of these customers. We got to find a way that we get back to them, that we are on top of those processes. So I met you at a 20 group and I'm like, oh man, we've got to put a BDC together and we got to really dial in on, put a structure in place on how to handle people better.